The Stack. People, Business, Technology. With Dan Tomaszewski of Everything MSP.
Hello, everybody. Dan Tomaszewski here. Welcome to another episode of The Stack, where we focus on people, business, and technology. Today, we're going to talk about a topic that every MSP is feeling right now, whether they realize it or not: modern authentication for MSPs and their clients, and why passwordless is fast becoming the new standard. Identity has officially become, and it has been this way for a little bit, the number one attack vector. Phishing, credential theft, MFA fatigue, and now the good old AI. AI is pouring gasoline on all of this. Yet MSPs are still stuck supporting outdated password workflows that create endless risk and endless tickets. Today, we're going to dig into how MSPs can help their clients, which we're all here for, to help reduce the risk, increase efficiency, strengthen compliance, and improve the user experience. And it's all with passwordless authentication. Now, to break this all down, I'm very excited to bring in Danny Obaseki with KZero. There is Danny. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, Dan. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here, my friend. We've known each other for quite some time. You know,
Yes.
we're both veterans in the channel. I mean, I think the amount of hair that we both have is just a testament to that, right?
Falls off every year.
Exactly. So, you guys at KZero, you are the company that's making passwordless practical for real world SMBs and not just for the enterprise. Because we all know that, a lot of the great tools that are out there are geared towards enterprise, but when it hits the SMB space, that's incredible, because for MSPs, they can truly be, the God out there to help make things better for the lives of their end users, right?
Absolutely. And we've seen, as you alluded to, enterprise organizations are adopting and embracing passwordless technology at breakneck speed. And that's one of our objectives, is to help democratize passwordless technology and have the same type of technology available for small, mid-sized businesses as well.
Yeah. And this topic couldn't be more timely, because, we know that AI-driven phishing has jumped 5x in 2025. Credential attacks are hitting SMBs nonstop. And of course, cyber insurance and compliance frameworks are tightening the screws around the authentication. But at the same time, MSPs are trying to secure their clients. They're trying to deal with all the blowout from that, as far as, help desk burden from passwords, the resets, the lockouts, and just the confusion for end users. So that's what we're going to dig in today. So let's kick things off. I want to start with the big one, which is, why are passwords still a massive problem here in 2025, even with MFA widely available?
Yeah, it's a great question. So before I sort of delve into the reason why passwords are still a massive problem today, even with MFA widely available, let's take a look at the history of passwords. They were invented in the 60s by a gentleman named Fernando Corbato, who was a professor at MIT, and he created a way for his students to protect data that they were working on, which was on a mainframe. And that worked for a few decades, up until recently, about 14 years ago. He actually admitted himself, raising a red flag, saying that passwords weren't built for today's digital reality. And the reason is because passwords are inherently weak, because they're something and if you know something, then someone else can know it as well. That means it can be stolen, can be phished, can be lost. And even though, which is good security hygiene, even though you layer on top of that multi-factor authentication, second factor, which you can use like a phone, but those are, especially the legacy and traditional MFA, those are password-based multi-factor authentication. So it's still vulnerable, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. I mean, those passwords are just, they are a nightmare. With him saying it doesn't fit today's, modern world, it's totally true. I did a little prank to a cybersecurity expert in our IT channel. I sent him a password book. I had a package sent to him, and it was a hard copy password book, had a little key on it, and just you got to be a wise guy, right? So,
Yeah.
but so for MSPs that hear passwordless, and they think it's just another MFA version, right? How does passwordless actually work, and and ultimately, what makes it fundamentally different from traditional MFA?
Yeah. So from an authentication standpoint, passwordless verifies identities without a password. So instead, we use biometrics, which is much more secure. You're making authentication sort of phishing resistant, if you will. So the big difference between obviously passwordless and it's sort of indicative by the word itself, but the big difference is that passwordless eliminates passwords entirely, whereas most MFA today still uses passwords as a first step in the multi-step process. So in terms of the workflow, it looks like this. So you would enroll your device or biometrics, and a secret pair is created sort of behind the scenes. Your private key never leaves your device. You then enter your username, and the system, sort of server, if you will, sends your mobile phone a one-time challenge. You prove it's you locally, either leveraging Face ID from an iPhone or fingerprint technology from an Android, and that unlocks your private key and signs the challenge. And then you're in. The server then checks the signed challenge and with your public key. And if that matches, you're authenticated. So there's no password. Nothing is transmitted that can be phished or stolen. So that's the big difference between passwordless technology and password-based authentication.
I mean, you think about from an end user perspective, you think about selling this, going to your clients. Ideally, in my opinion, this gets added to the stack. It's just automatic, because, number one, huge security improvements here, but also just that end user experience. And, but, I think if you were to go to any decision maker, if you're selling this, outside of your stack, if you paint the picture of this, I think it's just music to their ears, because we all know, we all hate passwords, and it just becomes, that challenge to our day to day. And, we're all logging into every possible thing you can imagine and trying to accomplish, what we're doing every day. And I can only imagine that, when you're illustrating this and explaining this to an end user, their ears must just perk up, because they're like, wait a minute, this sounds too good to be true, right?
Yeah. And I don't want to say, and that's a good picture you just painted, and I don't want to say it's easy, but it's an easy sell. But it is from a sales standpoint. If you go to an end user saying, I have a way to bolster security and harden your network or identities, at the same time, I'm making life easier for you. So it's a sweet spot to be as someone selling something, right? Because typically when MSPs go to their clients and wanting to bolster security, they'll prepare them and say, hey, I'm hardening your network, but I'm going to introduce a little bit more friction because it's going to be a slightly more painful, but it's for a good cause. Whereas with passwordless technology, you're actually making life easier. There's less steps to take. You're simply scanning a face or a fingerprint, and you're in. The user experience is much better than the traditional approach. All the while you're making them sort of phishing resistant. So you're actually bolstering security while making life easier for folks. So it's a good place to be as an MSP from a sales standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, where do password managers still fit into an MSP's security strategy?
Yeah.
And, ultimately, are they still necessary in this passwordless world?
Absolutely. So, ideally, we could get rid of passwords alone, just put them in the dustbin of history. But that's not the case because there are legacy applications that don't support passwordless technology. There are websites, for example, that don't support passwordless technology. So in those cases, and for those apps, KZero has actually developed a biometric password manager that serves as a vault, but the front gates is protected by biometrics. So it's a little bit more enhanced, for lack of a better term, and is a much more secure way than the traditional password approach, which relies on a master key or a secret key. We rely on biometrics to get into the front door, which is enhanced security. But password managers still fit into an MSP's security strategy because it's much better than not using password managers, which is you're relying on your brain, and you can be the smartest individual in the world, but there's no way you're going to remember 80, 90, 120 passwords, which is what people in terms of apps and websites people go to today, and the average person. So unless they're using the same password day in, day out, which is terrible security hygiene, if you will. So password manager is a good approach, but we think of it as a bridge to passwordless technology right now.
Well, I mean, I think that's a great fit too, just given that it becomes a 2-in-1 type solution. I don't know if you guys phrase it that way, but better to have it all in one tool than to have separate tools, and keep it all together. So that's great. And so let's talk a little bit about operations. What benefits would you say does passwordless give MSPs from a business or an efficiency standpoint? I know we talked a little bit about some of that, but let's talk a little bit deeper as far as how that has a huge plus for the MSP themselves.
Yeah, and I've seen this firsthand because in a former life, I was VP of sales for an outsourced help desk and knock service provider who outsourced their services to MSPs who then leveraged it. Operationally, majority of help desk tickets are password resets, which can bog down a help desk tech's time. And it's not the most profitable work to do. You want your engineers working on more profitable projects, cybersecurity projects, for example. It's not the most enticing work, so you're killing morale when someone's just resetting passwords day in, day out. You can also pass those benefits to your clients, because if they're leveraging a passwordless technology, then they're not sitting down idle waiting for someone to reset a password. There's no password to reset, so they're more productive. And the average organization is spending thousands and thousands of dollars monthly on password resets. So that's sort of the if you can eliminate all of that, it's huge for both your team and your clients, and you get more stickiness with your clients as a result, because you've not only saved them some money, but you've, as we alluded to earlier in the conversation, you're making life easier for them because they've gotten rid of that password problem that they had before. So operationally, it's actually twofold. It's good for the MSP and it's good for your end users, both financially and just overall from a productivity standpoint and employee morale standpoint.
Yeah, that morale perspective, I think, is huge because, having started my first IT service company in 2001, which, around 2005, 2006, we started doing managed services. I mean, at the end of the day, technicians, they kind of feel like, oh gosh, another password reset. When can I do something that is more worthy of what I went to school for, or more worthy of what I really want to accomplish? Because if that's all they're doing is password resets, or they're doing a lot of them, then they might start looking elsewhere. They might say, I want a job that's going to be more satisfying, more fulfilling. It's going to better use my talent. And so if there is a way that it can reduce that greatly, that helps drastically for them. So I love that aspect.
Nobody went to school in this channel to reset passwords all day. They want to do the sexy, creative stuff that makes themselves feel good. So, yeah, absolutely. I would echo that comment.
So, there's a lot of MFA tools out there. What makes KZero different, especially for, the MSPs and SMBs?
Yeah, so the first is just we were born passwordless. So other tools in the space may be gearing that way, but it's hard to change a legacy product to passwordless as opposed to being born passwordless. We are also more of a unified identity and access management platform with a wide variety of IAM tools rolled up in one. And I think you alluded to this earlier, saying you can kill two birds with one stone, passwordless and password manager. It's actually like five birds with one stone because we've got multi-factor authentication, we've got single sign-on, we've got passwordless, we've got a password manager, and then we've also got a security card. So for folks that, and this is what it looks like, it's like a credit card with fingerprint technology. So I would liken it to you can turn your iPhone into an NFC reader by tapping this, and it authenticates you and logs you into your critical apps. So we're onboarding folks leveraging this. That's another product that we have as well that works offline, and it's a pretty slick product. It fits in your wallet. You don't have to carry a like a USB stick around. So it's a pretty great technology in that regard. We also have a patented technology called TDICE from a password management standpoint. It's a trustless distributed symmetric encryption. It's a different type of encryption that distributes cryptographic keys across secure enclaves. And this sort of decentralized trust model removes reliance on a single authority and provides secure recovery options without compromising privacy, which is much more robust than basic encryptions that's found in traditional password managers that rely on a single master password or a secret password. So we actually have a different way in terms of how we encrypt our platform within our vault, if you will, and from a recovery standpoint.
Excellent. And, in the technical aspect of it, I know if there are, any listeners out there, I'm sure if they, want to reach out to you guys, they can get more technical detail by reaching out and scheduling a call with you, correct?
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, they can go to our website, it's KZero.com, and I can put them in touch with one of our sales engineers, and they'll be able to delve into the technology knee deep from a technical standpoint. Absolutely. Excellent. I'm more of a high level guy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did throw into the ticker your KZero.com, which makes it very easy. Now, before we wrap things up, for an MSP that wants to take advantage of things right now, can you guys have an NFR license available? Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. For every single MSP partner that we have, they all, we like to say, dog food it. So eat your own dog food. We want MSPs to leverage our platform internally, use it to make all of your apps phishing resistant. So we've got folks that are leveraging it, and we integrate with like Kaseya, Ninja, we meet you where you are from a tech stack standpoint. So they've gotten rid of the ability to use a username and password across their RMM stack, their PSA stack, all of their stacks. And we find that makes them subject matter experts at passwordless technology, and then they can go out there and resell it. But yeah, we have just reach out to or send an email to partners plural at KZero.com, and you can have access to an NFR license as well. And we also have actually a pretty neat authentication posture tool that we created that can help MSPs assess their clients or prospects' current authentication posture. It's good for prospecting, and it helps you start articulating the benefits of passwordless technology and seeing where they are from a authentication standpoint, if it's weak or across the board, if it's middle of the ground, or if they've already adopted passwordless technology, you can then confirm that they're doing a great job. So it's a pretty neat tool.
Yeah, that is great. I mean, anytime that you can, put something in place like that from a prospecting perspective, I think, especially around something that, really digs deep into so many organizations. Nobody's going to debate passwords being an issue and a headache. And, certainly, if you can do an assessment on that, they're going to be open to it. I was reading a little bit more too about a browser extension for your password manager.
Yes. So the first gen of our password manager was released a while back. We're now we're launching a browser extension of the KZero biometric password manager within a week, and that should be that's something I'm very, very excited about. So you don't have to go into our portal to leverage the password manager. You can actually simply go to any site or application and leverage the browser extension from pretty much any browser. We support Chrome and all the other Edge and about half dozen browsers out there. So that's something I'm very, very excited about. And that's something we're very much a partner demand driven organization. And that is something a lot of our partners requested. So we sort of worked like did yeoman's work over the last few months, and we're releasing that next week, and we're going to be consistently adding net new features to the platform as partners speak up.
Awesome. Danny, this has been awesome. I really appreciate your time. Passwordless definitely is not hype. It's where our entire industry is heading. MSPs who get ahead of this will reduce that risk, reduce tickets, give clients, a better authentication experience. And at the end of the day, it's all about keeping them secure. But along the way, if we can make their experience better and just take one of those things that just frustrates them off their plate, that would be great. And again, thank you, Danny. Anybody wanted to learn more, definitely check out KZero.com. Send that email to it was partners@KZero.com to be able to get your NFR and also the posture assessment tool. So with that being said, everybody, thank you so much for being here. Until next time, we'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to The Stack.